And I'm live. Hello. All right. I'll wait a second because I'm just a minute early. See if more people get in. I know it's a busy Saturday as always, but I just want some confirmation. If you can hear me, first of all, and how are you doing? I think, yes, this definitely, this mic is a little bit not very loud, but all right, let's make it happen. um, So, oops, stop that. That was the wrong one. Yes. So feel free to say hi if you're here. This is not um, a regular live chat of mine, as you can see by the title, probably. And if you came from Instagram, I'm going to talk about a very difficult subject, but I feel it just needs to be addressed. Hi, Lennon. Thanks so much for making it here. So you can all hear me, right? Just to make sure. Hi, Eddie. Nice to see you here. Yeah, this is very challenging, but as you guys may have noticed, this entire year, well, maybe just the last few months, I've really been trying to um, kind of push the envelope on what we can discuss. Um, on internet, even if this is just such a small channel and such a small niche tarot group, obviously the tarot community, online tarot community. um and I think actually everything is should be able to be discussed. And so, why not try and offer a nuanced view and ask you a couple of questions, just to get the conversation going? Maybe you can feel that this is a free, open space for you to share your opinion if you want to. Obviously, you're not obligated to give away anything. Hi, honey. You're so sweet for being here. Hey, Gigi. Good. Hearing you just fine. Right. I figured. I just started talking. um, so, um, there is something I know that I can ask this of you, um, of the people who watch my videos. Be open minded. Be open minded. I know that you are, but just like maybe you're new here and there you go. So, hey, Willow Moon Witch. Love that name. So, yeah, how is everyone? Thank you so much for showing up. We're gonna have a serious conversation, but also, maybe mess around a little bit like we always do. But I do have something to say, or well, just a conversation to have, really. There's some things that we need to get off our chests because there's a stigma around it in these times. And I think it's not fair. I think, as I said, everything should be, um, possible to discuss or allowed to be discussed. So you'll know what I'm talking about once I offer this quick disclaimer. But I just figured it would be for the best to actually do that. This is not a video in which I offer you advice on vaccines or any medical procedures, their efficacy, what you should do for yourself or your family. I am not a doctor, nor do I claim to know anything about medical issues. So I want to stay clear from talking about anybody's medical records or whether some of us do or don't have the vaccine. That should be your own choice. I don't intend to push anyone in any direction regarding that. I'm addressing the thing that comes with that, the exclusion of an entire group of people due to obligatory QR codes, vaccine passports, government issued health passes. The big question being, is this fair? I have thoughts on that, but most of all, I want to know what you think. That's the important thing here. So I'll be asking questions throughout, and feel free to answer them in the chat and in the comments. So, also important note, I want to get through this, so I might not, well, I will check the chat uh, all the time, but I might not, as I always do, read things out loud um, all that much. But I know that after every video or live, something else pops into my head. Everyone who does lives knows this, and we wish we would have included that into the talk, but I think it's still best for me to just talk to you, keep it somewhat of a coherent video. And obviously I encourage everyone to respect each other in the chat, so I'm gonna just start. I have some things I want to explain to you, the situation in Holland, in the Netherlands, where I live at the moment. So, first of all, not complaining, questioning rather, and yeah, to be honest, criticizing, just because I'm a citizen and I'm allowed to, as we all are, we're allowed to question and criticize and ask critical questions. So let's have the conversation flow in the comments. This is an open minded, free space. What we have here in the Netherlands, but I might go over or forget a few or not mention a few, but we've been through two lockdowns, we've had curfew, the whole washing hands all the time, obviously, that type of stuff. Ventilation is a big thing, should always be a big thing to me because we can get these nice and strong migraines from being in a stuffy theater all day without any fresh air. So not more than X amount of people together. That kept changing. Masks, 1.5 meters distance, then not 1.5 meters distance, then again 1.5 meters distance, testing, obviously, vaccines, and QR codes. And it's truly that last thing that changes the game for a lot of people. The line being truly crossed at soon being forced to show a QR code, meaning the vaccine passport, using an app in the workplace, using an app or having it printed out in the workplace. Because I don't really know what's the term in every country, but vaccine passports, green pass, sanitary pass, QR code, that's all the same thing, have been implemented a while ago now for clubs, cafes, restaurants, bars, cinemas, also theaters, museum, concert halls, and now soon for the workplace. That many people I've talked to find an entire step too far. The biggest issue, though, um, is to envision this QR society future. But we're not there yet in this talk. Um, so, yeah. So let me explain. I don't know what it's like in other countries regarding what I'm about to say now, but here in Holland, our government had sworn on multiple occasions that certain measures would never be taken. They did that a couple of times, and yet, few months later, those exact measures are enforced. And surprisingly enough, they keep adapting the law to do so. So we, Dutch people, realize that every time something is mentioned by the people in charge, whether they put it as this might need to happen, but we'll see it happens, or whether they say we can never justify taking those drastic, inhumane, discriminatory measures, so we'll never do that, it also happens. That's tough. Let me know if it's the same in your country. So, from November 2nd on, The QR code is necessary to get into sports centers and dance centers, amongst other rules, but those are obviously the things that I focus on, mostly being a dance teacher myself. It does affect my work, who I can teach, you know? If you hear noises in the background, this is another protest going on. I live in a busy area, and I think Holland got the taste, got a taste of what it's like to protest. So if you hear a little bit of that, I'm sorry, but nothing I can do about it. Windows closed and everything. So, last thing I said was it does affect my work, who I can teach. And also now, the people who work there in sports centers and dance centers, etc., have the threat hanging over their heads that they will need to show a QR code in order to step foot in their places of work. Goes for everyone, obviously. And I think too many people still believe that this is only a non-vaccinated person problem. I think that in itself is a problem. Because I can tell you there actually are people who are vaccinated but oppose of this control system and don't want QR codes in order to live their lives, and most important of all, at the moment, earn their livelihoods. Now, obviously, there are people who didn't get the vaccine for their own personal reasons, and there are people who are not vaccinated and also do not want a QR world. Just for your information, but I'm sure you all know, but in case you don't, who knows? A QR code will mean two things: you have all shots or you're recently recovered from the virus. But that recovery QR lasts for a set amount of time. So it expires. So eventually, the only way to get access to your job and just overall life is to use a QR code, which you can only truly get by vaccination. And then, still, where does that leave the people who are vaccinated but don't want the QR codes? The illusion of choice, right there. So yes, this is a spicy topic. I saw that in the chat. I'm asking critical questions, and I am critical on some points because people like to act, some people like to act as if this is not a nuanced matter, yet it is. And I believe in equality, and this is the opposite of that. So, do you believe the people in power will use this system for other means because they get access to everything? Um, is it just a matter of time before they implement the QR system beyond public health? But for right now, all I'm talking about, doesn't everyone deserve to earn a living? Um, do you think this is still only about getting a grip on a virus, or if this is moving into control society? Is there more going on? I'm asking you, I want to know what you think. Um, so earlier I mentioned new rules and laws being implemented even after the government had promised they wouldn't go there. Now, it came as a surprise, obviously, to people that fundamental rights could be adaptable like this and that laws could be changed in this way. This is how we Dutch people know that on November 12th, very quickly, the law will be changed because on that date, that is when the debate will be, and the outcome kind of looks planned at this point, so that QR codes will be mandatory for people to go to work. And I'm asking you, how do you feel about that? Where do you live? I already saw a few answers there. Um, and because I want to know where you live because I know many countries already live like this, and I want to know from your experience living there, how is this affecting society? Is it going too far to force everyone to participate in the QR control to earn their livelihoods, and why? Or do you think it's completely justified, and why? Maybe you're somewhere in the middle. Very possible. Let me know. Let me know. I will read the chat again, and obviously the comments will be there. I do want to press, obviously, be kind to one another. This is not the place for bullying, ridicule, respect each other. So these might be hard questions, but they are so important. And that's why I'm talking to you about it. We need to consider ethics, basic human rights. We need to at least have the feeling we know what to expect from our governments, and hopefully that this is an agreement to offer a safe space, right, for people to live in, meaning a life where people have a say in things. Some people boycott QR events. I know people who do that. I personally know people who do that, and I respect that. QR events, though, they are becoming everything, every event, every part of life: museum, concert, bar, cafe, uh, public transportation, going grocery shopping, going to work, doing what you love. A two-tier society, people are talking about it. It seems to be in the making, doesn't it? I think if we look around, this is not what anybody wanted, because it is going far, right? Um, I mean, I'm asking. I think it's going far. Let me know what you think. I think we never wanted this. Not as a measurement against a disease, not ever. Also, is it ever going to reverse back to the kind of society that we know now that we've globally activated the QR system? So far, on a worldwide level, it doesn't seem to matter, though, that people are against this. Looking at France, Italy, etc., where there are protests every day, people are vocal about it. These rules are implemented and here to stay, it seems, anyway. What do you think? Um, yeah, what do you think? Are people being heard at all? And maybe not enough people think about this stuff because it is kind of unthinkable. eh, maybe not enough people think about this stuff, and they just use their green pass all over just because they have it. Which, to be honest, with all this pressure put on it, I understand. I completely understand, but I don't agree of the system. Um, let's try to not become hopeless, because yes, all of these things we should think about, we should consider, we should openly discuss. People are increasingly growing much more untrusting of the government. I don't think that's very strange in this case. But yeah, there's still so much to lose. And it's not so weird to get scared. Um, you'll see a couple of videos after this live of mine. I think two coming up on my channel. Actually, also one on Patreon that was already filmed before the last enforcements by the Dutch government, just so you know. Um, yeah, but as I said, plenty of people know what's coming. They've stopped kidding themselves a long time ago. Because I I need to explain this. Let me know if this is also the case in your country. We've noticed that here in Holland, the people in charge just take their time. They give us some of our freedoms back, then take them away again, give something back, take more away this time, but slowly, so that nobody gets angry enough while we are slowly changing the values and norms of this country beyond recognition. I'm seeing that, and I've never been particularly patriotic myself. Not at all. But we can all relate here. The world feels different now. It feels different. And there's this overall sentiment. We used to be pretty good to one another, tolerant here. And now we're policing each other. If you want to offer another view, I've seen a few other views already in the chat. That's good. On what I've just said, feel free to do so in the comments. Um, Now, here are a few difficult questions for all of us. Feel free to answer whichever one you can. What to think about. If the only way to be free, to do what you want, basically to live our lives, is by showing a green screen, meaning the QR code, then are we free? Does anything we do mean anything? Um, if your neighbor, who is, of course, your equal, who maybe doesn't have all three shots, isn't free, then are you, just because you do have all shots. If your neighbor no longer lives in freedom, what does that mean for you? We should be discussing basic human rights. And the way things are now, we do see discrimination, normalizing discrimination, teaching the younger generations this is okay, this is the way things are. We should be against shutting people out. That's the main feeling here. Um, yeah, I'm I'm sure no one will disagree on this. We all know this by now, but there's a lot of manipulation going on. um, there's a lot of manipulation going on that tries and succeeds to make people think that we are against one another. We may disagree with someone's view on this nuanced matter, but aren't we all being pushed away from our former lives? And who exactly is making these changes happen? What are the tools we keep encountering in history? Who in this story is the scapegoat? Because, as I keep saying, forget about vaccines, medical choices, any of that. There's inequality happening around us. And now, with the workplace, and probably beyond that, that is taking it really far. And this might be unnecessary if we're looking towards this one goal, which is fighting a virus. What do you think? Now, here's one thing that I can say with a decent amount of certainty, and this is one of the reasons I personally don't want to be a part of the QR system. It's true that as long as the vaccine passport is actively being used as a means to have people participate in society, the green pass will pass from green to a red screen every single time there's a booster needed. That's just the way it works, right? But this means that our default mode is the red screen for all of us. This means that we are all in the same situation regarding this. We are all no longer welcome in our own environments. Most important of all, in the future, what will enable a green screen? I'm almost done. honestly. But just in case you missed it, here's the disclaimer once more. It just felt necessary. This is not a video in which I offer you advice on vaccines or any medical procedures, their efficacy, what you should do for yourself or your family. I'm not a doctor, nor do I claim to know anything about medical issues, so I want to stay clear from talking about anybody's medical records or whether some of us do or don't have the vaccine. That should be your own choice. I don't intend to push anyone in any direction regarding that. I'm addressing the thing that comes with that, the exclusion of an entire group of people due to obligatory QR codes, vaccine passports, government issued health passes. Whether we have the vaccine or not, should we accept a control society? Because here's another scary thought. You live in Holland, and after November 12th, even if you have the vaccine, and you don't want to participate in this QR control system, you lose your job. You've studied years for it, all that hard work, all that passion, considering, of course, you love your job. you know, of course, you're torn. All of this goes against your instincts. Right now, what's going on is financial, emotional blackmail. Now, we've learned as children, don't discriminate. So we don't go along with any discrimination system, right? Now, every company has the threat hanging over their heads that if they don't go along with the QR at the workplace, they'll eventually be shut down. And so for every individual, it's even harder because they're being threatened. They could lose their jobs, etc. So what do you think about having to show a QR code or anything like that to go and do your job, to go to work? See, I'm gonna comment on one thing because it just pops in at the right moment. Ultramarine, I understand concern about freedom, but I think the social responsibility of protecting those who are vulnerable takes precedence. Right. I see what you mean. Um, I lost my train of thought. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I understand concern about freedom, social responsibility, right? I see that, but how come the QR code is being pushed so much? Because that's a problem. That's a problem. That's i- that is a true concern for now, for the future, the steps being taken now, the near future. What's going on with this QR control society? And what did I say? Is the public health truly the only thing they're going to use the QR codes for? Okay, so I'm going to keep going, right? Even if by some sort of a miracle this is resolved soon, there's also the question of, will we recover from our collective trauma? Um, will we be able to trust the people in power after having seen how much a crisis situation can be abused? And as I said, now that we live in a QR society. So I know, if you've never considered any of these things in the last 1.5, 2 years, then all of these questions may surprise you, things to consider. But I've never felt ready to openly talk about this on here. I'm still not ready to do what I'm doing now, but it's too important, it's too big, it's too close, it's a lot. And I know by asking you certain tough questions, that might make you like me less, but can we live like this? Can any of us? I know I usually make videos about tarot and all things related, the way I like to say it, but I actually think that this is related. So you might think, how is this related to tarot? You're just pushing your own agenda or whatever. No, this is related to tarot because, first of all, the tarot is the book of life. And this, my friends, is life. And second, just like any important issue that I feel I have something to add to, I will talk about it. And tarot is spirituality, is seeing reality, is fighting for what we love, and asking the right questions and asking the difficult questions. So, there, it's related. And I'm still me, identity crisis and all, due to the unease of the current climate. I hope you are still you. And I mean that obviously personally. Like, don't get lost in all of this craziness. Stay true. Um, Look, I want to say that I have decided to double check the comments before they're public after this live is done, just so you know if your comment doesn't immediately show, that's why. If you've enjoyed this conversation, consider subscribing. If you like this brainstorm, leave a like. I will, in fact, see you tomorrow for the video that I filmed in the end of October. That one is all about tarot, but I relate it to my deep rooted love for my work as dance teacher and my love for my students. Yeah. So um, everything is related. It's okay. Look, guys, I think half an hour is good. I'm going to stop here. I will read the comments and okay, that's it. I want to say thank you so much for listening and for being honest in the chat. I have a feeling it was very, respectful. Thank you so much. Obviously, I didn't expect anything else from the people who are in this community. So, yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank you. And if you want to continue this conversation, because I can imagine that you have much more to say on this matter, please continue those in the comments. I will be in the comments. Okay, that's it. Much love. Take care, everybody. And keep the open conversations going. Thank you.